Hey cats, what's happening? Come on in. I've been cleaning up the garage. It's a Saturday, so I made it a work day, both in the house and out here. But it was getting to be a mess, and I like to keep a clean garage, so there were some things that I wanted to do. So I've been hauling stuff out to the shed way out there, load after load, throwing stuff away. Just cleaning up. I had a pile of lumber over here leaned up against the wall. Scraps of plywood and other boards and 2x4s and just and I went through that. I took some of it out to my campfire to burn. The rest of it I put out in the shed because it's rare that I need that stuff, and it doesn't need to be in the garage here taking up space. So I did that. I cleaned out underneath my workbench here and ended up with a whole bunch more room. There was tons of mouse droppings down there, so I got the shop vac and cleaned all that out. So that's done. I replaced some of the bulbs up here until I ran out. There's still one down there that needs replaced. So yeah, just working in here, cleaning things up. I still have this side to do. So my pressure washer goes down in the basement. It doesn't stay out here, especially in the winter. Those tires are going to go out to the shed. Just something that I haven't done yet. This chair I don't use. I'm going to get rid of it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So yeah, I still got more to do, but wearing me down. I've been, going. I had a guy come on and look at my garage floor. You see, this is spalling. And I had another guy come out and look at it years ago, and he told, I don't know, he gave me some outrageous price to grind everything down and reseal it with it, and I said, nah, I'm not going to do that. But there are other things you can do to upgrade your garage floor, so I'm kind of looking into that, seeing if I can afford that or not. It would be nice to have a, because this is all peeling off. I mean, you can just all of the top coat is just like, comes right up, and if I get the pressure washer on it, it peels off like eggshells and shoots them out the door. So, not that it really matters, but anyway, I had a guy come out this morning and talk to me about putting in some kind of a coating on this garage floor, and he seems to think that it would definitely work. They do a lot of prep work, grinding everything down, and then they treat it with some kind of solution, and then they put the new floor down, and they said it'll last for like 20 years. Well, I'll be gone before then, so at least I expect to be. I don't think I'm going to live that long. I haven't been out on the bike this week at all, and I must have had over 100 comments, telling me what to do with my kickstand thing. Put a parachute cord on it and hang it on the handlebar. Yeah, I did that. So, but thanks for your suggestions anyways. I'm always appreciative of, anybody giving me tips or anything like that. But yeah, no, I've been really, I've had a lot of catch-up work to do. I spent all day yesterday on the tractor, mowed everything. All the way down the driveway, all the way up, everything around the house, everything in the backyard. So that's done. My garden's been coming in, so I've been picking tomatoes like crazy. Been giving stuff away to neighbors and stuff too, so that's working out well. I feel really fortunate and really blessed, to be honest. I mean, everything I have is beyond my expectations of whatever happened to me, because there was a time when I was destitute. I had nothing, and retirement has been really good to me. along with some smart investments that I've made, and that's paying off really well. So things are looking better all the time for me, and I'm just blessed. I'm overwhelmingly blessed, because things could go either direction, and I don't take anything for granted. I give God all the glory for everything I have. I don't, and I want to share it too. So, I have my friends come over and enjoy the place, family and stuff. I've had people say, well, you should sell it, you should downsize, it's too much work. It is a lot of work, but that's good for me. Keeps me busy, keeps me healthy. Guy asked me the other day, he said, well, how old are you? Like 62, 63? I said, no, I'm 70. You're not 70. And I said, well, in November I'll be 71, so how about that? And he said, oh my gosh, you don't look like you're 70. I said, well, the only thing I can tell you is, that I spent my whole career working outdoors for the most part. Other than that, it's just been the grace of God who's protected me and given me good health. So I give Jesus the credit for that. I started my career with the parks right when I got out of high school. I was working on these Arabian horse farms before that. So I was just a farmhand, cleaning stalls, feeding horses. They had llamas, so I was, feeding the llamas, baling hay, stacking hay, painting barns, anything you would do on a farm. And there was 3 different farms that we were panned out to, whoever needed us the most that day. There was one big farm that we were mainly employed with, and they would set us up like, hey, today you got to go down to the other farm a mile down the road. That guy needs some help baling hay or something like that. So that kept us really busy in my teens. But once I graduated high school, I needed more money. I needed a job, and I landed a part-time job with the park system in Summit County, Ohio. It was a good park system, a good solid park system, metropolitan park, so a county park system. But they had parks all over the county, and they were pretty big parks, not like a small city park, but more acreage involved. And each park had its own crew and its own manager. So scattered around the county, there was probably like 6 different parks with 6 different managers, and then there was a district manager and a supervisor. So I was first sent to work at a park up in Richfield, Ohio, and it was a part-time job. So I was just pushing a lawnmower and picking up trash, things like that, walking the trail and making sure there wasn't any branches down on the trail and stuff like that. That wasn't bad. I was just a kid, though, and just given the menial jobs, nothing out of the ordinary. And then after the summer was over, I got laid off because I was just seasonal. So I went to the office and I talked to the superintendent, and I said, I would like to continue my employment with the park. If you have any full-time positions, I would love to have one. He said, no, we don't have anything. We don't have anything. So see you later. Well, 2 weeks later, he called me and he said, are you still looking for a job? And I said, yes, sir, I am. And he said, well, next Monday morning, you report to Virginia Kendall Park, which is now part of the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. Virginia Kendall Park is known for their sandstone ledges and cliffs and caves and things like that. So that's an interesting part of the Cuyahoga Valley. But I was, stationed there at this Virginia Kendall Park where I worked for about 5 years, until the national park came in and took it over by eminent domain. And they pretty much booted the metro parks out of there, and the national park took over. and they did not hire any of us as employees with the national park, which ended up being a good thing. And I was able to stay with the metro parks, again, through the grace of God, because they talked about laying us all off, those that were employed up there, because they said, we really don't have a place for you. But they did finally find a place for me, so I was able to continue working. And then during my career, I worked at different parks all around, but I ended up at a big swim park in Monroe Falls, Ohio. It was a 13-acre lake. The beach went all the way around the lake, and it was just a beautiful place. And people would go there every day, families and singles and college kids, and I mean, it was a very, very popular swim park. All grass beaches all the way around, and a couple of playgrounds, and it's just really nice. And from the time I worked there, I saw a lot of development there. I mean, that we did a lot to improve that place. We built a brand new bathhouse. We put in brand new playgrounds, new restroom facilities. We put new sand on. We drained the lake down, and when you stepped into the lake, it was all sand, but there was a concrete wall that went around the lake, so you came right off the grass, stepped down into the water, and you were walking on sand under the water. So every year we would put fresh sand on the lake bed. It was quite a project, and I ended up being the crew leader, or basically the crew boss there, and did that for, I think, 18 years that I worked there. And pretty much ran that park. Saw different management come in and out over the years that I was there. Eventually, I ended up in the construction end of the park system, and I was taken out of Monroe Falls Park and moved to Sand Run Park, which is the main hub for the metro parks in Akron, Ohio. And I was given an office there, and I was pretty much the construction job boss for all the projects. So I went out on the jobs with the crew, and we would do everything from A to Z. We put up pole barns. We re-roofed buildings. We did excavation and drainage. We did trail work. I mean, you name it, we did it. Remodeling, interior things, and yeah, just it was a great job because a lot of diversity. I could be out driving a tractor one day, maybe operating a backhoe, and the next day I could be up putting shingles on a roof. So I learned a lot, and during my career there, being that I had such diverse training in almost everything, about 4 years before I retired, they promoted me to a project manager position where I had my own office, my own computer, the whole kit and caboodle there. And they would, every project that came on board, they would put on my desk and say, here it is, this is your project, you take care of it, you handle it. So I'd have to, do all the preliminary work that pretty much included, figuring out the job, the materials, the time, the schedule, the manpower, whether or not we'd need to contract anything out or not, getting quotes on materials and setting up deliveries of materials. So there was a lot of office work involved in that, and I didn't really care for that too much. I wanted to be out on the job with the guys and be part of the crew, but now I was kind of on an island by myself. And, it was whenever you step up in management, the crew members, the guys you worked with for years, all of a sudden they kind of oust you like you're not one of us anymore. You're upper management now, so we can't talk to you anymore. And I struggled real hard to continue a relationship with the guys I worked with because the camaraderie was pretty tight. I mean, I had worked with some of those guys for over 40 years, so they were like brothers to me, And I wasn't about to let that relationship flounder just because I was stepping up in management. But that was a tough thing to do, and some guys just wouldn't. They were just done with me. They said, "No, you're management now. You're not one of us anymore." So that was a tough thing, you know. But stepping up into the management position, I was put on a salary, and I made a huge raise, which made a big difference. So that helped a lot, and I was able to invest a lot of that money too. That now is starting to pay off. So things are looking up for me. Things are looking good. Like I said, I'll be 71 by this November, and I've never been better in my life. I feel healthy. I'm all caught up with, I'm not behind on anything anymore. I'm able to make my payments okay. Not much of a struggle like it was originally. So yeah, life is good. Life is good in retirement for me. I know they have a lot of retirement seminars and stuff telling people, how they should retire, how they should invest their money, when they should retire. I don't know. I didn't go to any of those, but whatever I did it right. But one thing I did do was work for 44 years. That was a long time, but I never gave up. I stuck with my job, and through the public employees retirement system, they had told me, they said, well, if you do, I went down and met with them, and they said, if you do 44 years, if you can hang on that long, you'll get a full benefit retirement. So that's what I did. I stuck it out. I hung with it, and I did the full 44 years. Wasn't easy. I mean, I watched a lot of guys drop away. After 30 years, you were eligible for retirement, and you don't know how many guys got to 30 years and they bailed out, and then they realized that they only got a partial retirement at 30 years. If they would have done 15 more years, they would have got a full retirement, a full benefit, but they were only getting half of their benefit by retiring early. And a lot of them had to go back and find another job, and some of them actually came back begging to be hired back with the park system, and some of them were hired back. But when you're hired back, you start at the bottom of the barrel again, So they had a good position, a good job, and then they quit, and then they come back, and they're back to pushing a lawnmower and picking up trash again. So, not a wise decision. Anyway, that's kind of my story where I am right now. God's been good to me. God has given me so many blessings, and I'm so grateful. I have a lot of support. I have this channel, which I enjoy, and I am happy that you guys enjoy it too. And I'm going to stick with it as long as I can. I was thinking the other day, how long am I going to be able to continue to do these videos twice a week? I mean, in reality, I could quit doing it right now. This could be my last video. I don't need to do this. It's been kind of almost like a part-time job. It does take a little bit of work and effort. There's the filming, then there's the editing and so forth, and then the getting the thing set up on YouTube and posting it the way you want, scheduling it to post and everything. So it does take some time out of my week, and there's a little bit of effort involved there. But I enjoy doing it, and I love reading your comments. You guys are so supportive and so good to me, and I appreciate that. I really, really do. Well, thanks for watching. I appreciate likes, the thumbs up, and I appreciate the subscriptions that you guys have subscribed, and for your continued support. Until next time, I gotta head back out to the garage, and I think next time my job is moving those 4 tires out to the shed. So, running out of steam, but I gotta keep going.